What if I told you that the strongest men you know weren't born that way? They were made that way by pain. Not one loud, traumatic moment, but quiet, repeated disappointments, a betrayal here, a harsh word there, being misunderstood, being judged too early, being punished for showing something real. And after a while, you learn to close the door. I end this video. We're going to explore something that lives deep inside every man, whether he admits it or not. A quiet vow, a line etched somewhere in your soul. Nobody will ever hurt me again. At first, it feels like strength. You become sharper, more aware, less trusting. You don't let people too close. You keep control. You don't cry. You don't need. You don't ask. You survive. But what Carl Jung understood, and what most men never realize, is that when you shut down pain, you shut down everything else with it. You stop feeling hurt. But you also stop feeling love. You stop feeling humiliated, but you also stop feeling free. You become harder, but colder, stronger, but lonelier. This story is about that armor. The armor you built to never be hurt again. The armor that kept you safe, but now keeps you numb. And by the end of this video, you'll see clearly why so many strong, intelligent men still feel hollow inside, how protection becomes a prison, and what it actually takes to heal as a man, not by becoming softer, but by becoming whole again. Before we go deeper, if you've ever told yourself, "I'm fine," when you weren't. If you've ever had to fake calm when your heart was breaking inside, then pause for a second. Like this video, not for me, but as a way of saying, I'm ready to face this. And subscribe, because this isn't the kind of truth you'll find in your feed. This is for men who are done pretending. Let's go back for a second. You weren't born guarded. You weren't born cold. You were open, curious, full of feeling. You reached out. You showed your heart. You needed affection. You wanted to be understood. And then something happened. Someone didn't handle you right. They dismissed you. Shamed you. Used what you shared against you. So you learned, not all at once, slowly. Lesson by lesson. That the world doesn't reward softness. That vulnerability equals danger. That if you want to survive, you have to adapt. And you did. You stopped sharing. You started watching. You started anticipating danger before it happened. You became clever, strategic, emotionally efficient. You built walls without even realizing it. And it worked. You weren't as hurt anymore. You made fewer mistakes. You had more control. People respected you more. You didn't get caught off guard. You stopped bleeding, but you also stopped bleeding. And what no one told you was that blood, that openness, is where life actually happens. Carl Jung said, where your fear is, there is your task. What you try hardest to avoid is exactly where you'll find your buried self. Most men today don't feel lost because they're lazy. They feel lost because they've spent years suppressing the very parts of them that were designed to connect, create, trust, feel, and express. They shut them down to survive a world that punishes feeling. But now they don't know how to get it back. And it haunts them. You wake up. You do what you need to do. You're functional. You're not falling apart. You get compliments. You get respect. People think you're solid. But inside, there's nothing moving. You don't feel excited. You don't feel passion. You don't feel real hunger. You might be successful. You might even be admired. But you feel like a ghost inside your own life. That's not weakness. That's what happens when a man forgets how to feel. Because it was never safe to do so. Here's the most dangerous part. You think you're protecting yourself. But really what you're doing is cutting yourself off from the only parts of you that make life worth living. You avoid pain, but also joy. You avoid chaos, but also love. You avoid risk, but also meaning. And here's the truth. Nobody can hurt you again, because you're not letting anyone in. But that also means nobody can reach you either. That's not strength. That's a cage, and the one who locked the door was you. But it's not your fault. It was your way of surviving. And at one point, it worked. But now, you're still living in that survival mode. Long after the threat is gone. You're still bracing for punches that no one's throwing anymore. You're still living like a soldier, when what you really want is to be a man. And that's what this journey is really about. It's not about becoming soft. It's not about crying more. It's not about healing your inner child in a circle of candles. It's about having the courage to take off the mask. Not in public, not online. But in front of yourself, it's about remembering that you were never weak. You were just unprotected. And then, overprotected. Now, it's time to be conscious. Grounded. Integrated. We're going to talk about the first real signal that something has gone numb inside. You won't see it in the mirror. But you'll feel it. In the space between moments. In the silence after achievement. In the absence of fire. We'll explore what happens when the protector in you starts running the whole show, and how to reclaim the parts you've been missing, without losing the edge you fought so hard to earn. If anything in this hit you, even a little, don't just scroll away. Pause. Feel it. And recognize that feeling is you waking up. Subscribe. Not for me, for the version of you that's still alive under the armor. We're going to get him back. The first real sign, when the fire goes out, you don't notice it at first. There's no explosion. No collapse. No rock bottom, just a slow fading. The mornings feel heavier. The nights feel longer. The days blur together. You're still functioning. You show up. You get things done. You make people laugh when needed. You hit the gym. You respond to messages. You perform. But something's gone, and it's not obvious. Not even to you. This is the first real sign. The fire goes out. Not all at once. Not dramatically. Just quietly. One day, you realize you haven't wanted anything in a long time. Not deeply. Not fiercely. Not the way you used to. You don't crave the wind. You don't chase the edge. You don't dream like you used to. You're not even sure what you want anymore. You're just here, alive, but not burning. Carl Jung once wrote, "A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them." But here's the modern twist. You didn't go through the fire. You turned it off. You didn't face the chaos. You escaped it. You got efficient. You got clever. You numbed what was loud and learned to live quiet. But now, you can't feel anything at all. Welcome to 2025, at a time when everything is engineered to keep you stimulated, but nothing makes you feel alive. You've got constant hits of dopamine. Everything is convenient. Everything is instant. Swipe, scroll, binge, tap, click. You're fed, but never full. Entertained, but never moved. Distracted, but never truly engaged. You don't feel pain, because you don't feel anything anymore. That's the cost of numbing. But I'm not broken. I'm just tired. No, you're disconnected. From yourself. From your body. From your emotions. From your instincts. From your hunger. And in a world where everyone's trying to stay calm, where being emotionally neutral is seen as power, you've lost something sacred: intensity. That wild masculine energy that used to push you into life. The primal part of you that wanted to fight, to create, to dominate, to explore. That part has been slowly turned down. Because it's too much. Because it makes people uncomfortable. Because it doesn't fit the soft, clean, controlled image of what a modern man is supposed to be. You can tell yourself you're just maturing. That you're getting older. That you're becoming wiser. But deep down, you know. You know what it feels like to burn. You remember how it felt to want something so badly, you could taste it. To feel alive, even in pain. To lose track of time because something lit you up. And now, you don't even chase anymore, you drift. And here's the danger most men miss. When you stop chasing, the world stops responding. Women sense it. Opportunity avoids it. The universe doesn't move toward men who have no pulse. You could be attractive, intelligent, successful. But if there's no tension in your presence, no inner electricity, no real aliveness in you, people just pass you by. You become invisible. Not because you're weak, but because there's no signal coming out of you. So how did we get here? Let's break it down, not philosophically but biologically. The modern man's nervous system is fried. You're bombarded with stimulation 24/7. Constant notifications, endless comparison, on social media, false dopamine spikes from porn, video games, content pressure to always perform and look like you have it together. Zero real silence, stillness, or ritual. You always reacting. Never resting. Your brain is flooded, but your heart is starving, and over time, your body says, "This is too much." So it shuts down. To protect you. It puts you in low power mode. Not because you're broken. But because you're overloaded. That's why most men don't feel bad. They just feel blank. Not sad. Not anxious. Just emotionally flat. And they call it normal. They say it's just life. But it's not life. It's life muted. Here's the truth. You were never meant to live this way. Muted. Passive. Comfortable, but quietly dying inside. You were meant to feel danger. Tension. Excitement. Fear. Hunger. You were meant to carry pressure and rise through it. To struggle. To want. To risk. To fail. You were designed to burn. But modern life is designed to extinguish that. And the more you adapt to it, the more you lose your signal. Your essence. Your masculinity. So what's the first step? You don't need a dopamine detox. You don't need to meditate for 10 hours. You don't need to disappear into the mountains yet. You need to do something harder. You need to feel what you've been avoiding. Sit with the fact that you don't feel much. Sit with the realization that your fire is low. Don't judge it. Don't panic. Just notice it. Breathe with it. Because that awareness is the first strike of the match. In 2025, the strongest man is not the one with the most money, muscle, or followers. It's the man who has the courage to feel. In a world that trains him to numb, it's the man who has clarity in chaos. Who can hold pressure without disconnecting. Who can be still and still dangerous. It's not about getting your fire back. It's about stopping the leak. Reclaiming your nervous system. Reclaiming your instincts. Reclaiming your edge. We're going to go even deeper into what's actually draining your energy every day and making you smaller, quieter, duller. We'll talk about the systems, habits, beliefs, and environments that are actively suppressing your masculinity. Not by attacking it, but by slowly replacing it with comfort, performance, and control. You'll learn to spot the enemy. You'll learn how to stop feeding it. And you'll learn how to get back to a life that burns again. The invisible enemy that you've probably asked yourself before. Why do I feel like this? Why am I not driven like I used to be? Why do I feel so flat, so indifferent, when there's nothing wrong? You assumed it was something personal. That you lost discipline. That you're getting lazy. That it's age, or stress, or hormones. But what if I told you, it's not you. It's the environment. The world around you has changed more in the last 10 years than in the previous 100. And the truth is, you're not broken. You've been conditioned. This is the invisible enemy. It doesn't scream. It doesn't fight you in the streets. It doesn't lock you in a cage. It just slowly, quietly rewires your nervous system until you stop chasing, stop burning, stop being. You were born for tension. Masculinity is built in tension, pressure, risk, weight, purpose, direction. A man grows through resistance, not comfort. Not ease. Not constant pleasure. But in the modern world, tension is treated like a problem, and comfort is the highest virtue. You're told to regulate. To be calm. To be balanced. To be always fine. And so, your wildness, your intensity, your edge, gets treated like a threat, not just by others. But by you. The dopamine spiral. Let's get scientific for a moment. Right now, in 2025, your brain is exposed to more dopamine triggers in one day than a man in the 1800s would get in his entire year. TikTok scrolls. Instagram dopamine loops. Short-form content engineered to hijack attention. Instant access to food, porn, entertainment, validation. Everything is designed to hit your brain's reward center, without effort. But here's the paradox. The more pleasure you're exposed to without earning it, the less joy you feel over time. Your brain adapts. It stops caring. You need more. And get less. So you keep scrolling, keep watching, keep numbing, until one day you're sitting in your room with everything at your fingertips and feeling nothing. Section 3. The culture of optimization. Modern life teaches men to be efficient, not deep. You are optimized to produce, to perform, to look put together. But no one asks, do you feel aligned? Do you feel grounded? Do you feel like a man? Do you feel anything at all? Every app, every metric, every biohack is about doing more with less. And without realizing it, you've become a brand. Not a man. A product with output. A profile with highlights. A container for metrics. How much did you earn? How lean are you? How fast did you level up? But what about this? When was the last time you felt moved to your core? When was the last time you were willing to risk something that mattered? When was the last time you felt like a dangerous man with purpose? You've been reduced, not by force, but by functionality. The feminization of the male psyche. Let's talk psychology. In the last 15 to 20 years, masculinity has been rebranded. Aggression, toxic, assertiveness, problematic, dominance. Dangerous. Emotion. Yes, but only the kind that keeps you relatable and non-threatening. And so, modern men have learned to present a soft, compliant, pleasant exterior, while killing their instincts underneath. This isn't about blaming women. This is about cultural engineering, where the traits that build civilizations are now treated like character flaws. You were taught, don't speak too strongly, don't disagree, don't lead too hard, don't want too much. So what did you do? You adapted. You complied. You muted your fire, so people would feel safe. But now you don't feel safe, in your own skin, because you're not expressing your truth. You're suppressing it, and that builds pressure. Internal chaos. A deep sense of disconnection. Jung called this the shadow, the part of you hide to survive in society. But the longer you suppress it, the louder it gets, until you either collapse quietly or explode publicly. You are not designed for this world. Let's stop pretending this is normal. A man is not designed to sit at a desk 12 hours a day under fluorescent lights, consume digital noise from 50 sources an hour, pretend to be fine while his body screams for challenge, clarity, movement, and silence. Measure his worth through attention, likes, and monthly revenue. This is not a human life. This is a simulation. A prison with golden bars, and the longer you live inside it, the less of yourself you recognize. That's why so many men are silently dying in 2025. Not because they're weak, but because they are no longer connected to anything real. Not their bodies. Not their mission. Not their instinct. Not their pain. Not their truth. They are floating. Optimized. Entertained. Performing, but empty. The cost of adaptation. You were told to adapt. To be high value. To be emotionally intelligent. To be safe. But here's what no one told you. Every time you adapted to survive, you buried a part of you that was meant to lead. And now, years later, you have the success, the body, the car, but you don't feel like a man. You feel like an actor. Like a well-trained version of someone you no longer remember. And the more you optimize, the more you disconnect. So what do? You recognize the enemy. You stop blaming yourself. You stop fixing what isn't broken. And instead, you begin the process of reclaiming what you were made to forget. Pain is not a bug. It's feedback. Aggression is not evil. It's energy. Desire is not weakness. It's life. Discomfort is not to be avoided. It's to be mastered. Masculinity is not toxic. It's sacred. You don't need a new app. You don't need a new plan. You need a return. To your instincts. To your body. To solitude. To intensity. To honesty. You need time in silence. Time with discomfort. Time in movement. Time outside the matrix. You need to stop performing. And start reclaiming, reconnecting to the source. The opposite of the invisible enemy is not noise. It's truth, not content. Stillness, not ambition. Alignment, and not more answers. But better questions. What is real for me? What do I actually want without influence? Where have I betrayed myself to be accepted? What do I need to feel alive again? The return begins with awareness. Then intention. Then action. We're going to stop observing and start building. We'll talk about reclaiming the fire. Through tension, through challenge, through choosing discomfort over numbness, through embracing the parts of you that society tried to erase, because healing isn't soft. It's war, but not war against others. War for yourself. Reclaiming the fire. There's a moment in every man's life when he realizes, no one is coming to fix this. Not your parents. Not your girl. Not your therapist. Not the books you read. Not the gym. Not God, just you. And the decision to begin again. I end the last video we named the enemy, a culture of comfort. Dopamine overload. A world that made you numb. And it's real, but now the question is different. Now it's this, what are you going to do about it? This isn't healing. This is reconstruction. Most men think they need healing. What they actually need is to rebuild, not go easier. Not be nicer to yourself. Not rest more. You've done that. You've been still long enough. Now it's time to walk through fire. The right kind of fire. You don't need escape. You need confrontation. With the body you've abandoned. With the truth you've hidden. With the edge you've dulled. With the man you were supposed to become, but haven't yet. The body comes first. You want clarity? Strength. Respect. Sexual energy. Purpose. Start with your body, because your mind is full of thoughts, but your nervous system is where the truth lives. And right now, your body is confused that it's overstimulated. Underused. It's been fed, but not challenged. It's soft, responsive, hyperreactive. And you're wondering why you feel anxious and disconnected. Your body hasn't faced tension in months. Maybe years. So what do? You stop reading. You stop scrolling. You stop overthinking. And you move. Train hard. With discipline. With cold. With weight. With breath. Wake up early. Feel hunger. Sweat. Get uncomfortable. Often. Make the body earn rest again, not to be fit, but to remind yourself, I still exist. Add cold, solitude, and silence. Point 3 elements most modern men never experience. Cold. Solitude. Silence. Your nervous system is drowning in noise. Music. Videos. Voices. Memes. Messages. There's no room for your own thoughts, let alone your instincts. To reclaim your fire, you need to strip stimulation. You need to return to the essential point. 10 minutes in freezing water will teach you more than 10 hours of overthinking. A walk at sunrise without headphones will realign your brain. A silent room will reveal what's really going on inside you. Point 1 weekend offline will show you what you're really addicted to. You don't need to become a monk. But you do need to spend time with just you. Because if you can't be alone with yourself, you'll never trust yourself. Build discipline, not for control, but for integrity. Discipline is not punishment. It's integration. It's the act of aligning your behavior with the man you say you are. Discipline says, I do hard things, even when no one sees me. I keep promises to myself. I don't need motivation. I need direction. I'm not a slave to how I feel. Most men try to feel better first. Then act. That's backward. Act better. Move with strength. And your feelings will follow, because your soul remembers action. Your fire comes from purpose, not pleasure. This is where most men fall. They seek their fire in money, women, freedom, achievement, approval, and when it doesn't last, they chase harder. Scroll longer. Switch goals. Change cities. Change women. By something new. But your fire was never meant to be fueled by pleasure. It comes from something else, from a mission, something that demands more than you have right now, terrifies you, stretches you, forces you to rise, and asks, are you ready to become more? Without a mission, men rot. You don't need to find your purpose. You build it. You choose. You pick something hard and you go. And in that pressure, your soul starts to glow again. Stop making excuses for the softness in you. This one will sting, but it needs to be said. You have to stop justifying the comfort you hate. You hate waking up late. You hate numbing with porn. You hate playing safe. You hate saying yes to things that drain you. You hate over-explaining yourself. You hate pretending to be good when you feel angry, lost, or wild. So stop saying, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just being kind to myself. I just need more self-care. That's not care. That's avoidance dressed up in therapy words. You don't need more softness. You need more honesty. Stop coddling your weakness. Start rebuilding your standard. You need a brotherhood, not a following. In 2025, most men are connected, but deeply alone. They have followers. Likes. Group chats. DMs. But no one who looks them in the eye and says, you're slipping. You're better than this. I've got your back, but I won't let you lie to yourself. You don't need more applause. You need men who hold a mirror. Men who won't let you collapse into excuses. Men who walk the same road. Men who don't flinch when you're raw, lost, or angry. Brotherhood isn't therapy. It's resistance training for the soul. Find men who are on the path, or be the one who starts it. You need a philosophy, not a trend. If you don't choose a structure for your life, the world will choose it for you. Modern men consume advice like content. New habits. New techniques. New hacks, but no system. No foundation. No truth. You need a philosophy, not a script. Not a set of rules. But a worldview that holds you steady. For some, it's stoicism. For others, it's faith. For others, it's a code they write for themselves. But the point is this: a man without a code will always betray himself. And he won't even notice until it's too late. Integrate your darkness. Don't run from it. Here's where most self-development fails. They want to heal the anger. Fix the ego. Manage the shadow. But Jung said clearly, One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your shadow, the wild, aggressive, raw part of you, is not evil. Its energy. Its force. Its intensity. You don't need to suppress it. You need to own it. Integrate it. Aim it. That's where your danger comes from. Your presence. Your magnetism. Your confidence, not from being nice. But from being whole. Put bricks back in place. One by one. This won't happen in one video. One journal session. One morning routine. This is construction, and construction takes time, pain, mistakes, days where it doesn't feel like it's working, moments of wanting to give up, repetition, brutal honesty, quiet wins. But if you keep going and keep building brick by brick, one day, you'll look in the mirror and say, he's back. And you won't need anyone else to say it, you'll know. I am the final part of this series. We talk about the return. You've been dismantled. You've burned. You've stripped everything down. You've built again. Now it's time to return, not to who you were. But to who you chose to become. This is where the fire becomes stable. Grounded. Quietly powerful, not just for you. But for the people you lead. The woman you love. The sons who will watch you. The world that desperately needs you. The return. There's a silence a man carries when he's been to war and come back whole. Not loud. Not desperate. Not seeking attention, just calm. Still. Certain. And people feel it. You've burned. You've stripped away the noise. You've trained, you've fallen, you've rebuilt. You've walked into the fire and stayed there. And now, you don't need to prove anything, because now, you know who you are. You know what matters. You know what's yours and what's not. And that knowing is the beginning of everything, from proving to being. Before you move to impress. To be seen. To be enough. To win now. You move from alignment. Not pressure. You say no calmly. You say yes without need. You don't chase. You draw in, not by force. But by presence. Because when a man is connected to himself, he becomes a quiet magnet. Women feel it. Men respect it. Children trust it. And the world opens to it. Power now looks like stillness. You used to think power meant motion. Loud voice. Big moves. Alpha posture. But true power isn't volume. It's weight. Now you walk into a room and say nothing. And still, people feel you. Why? Because you are rooted. In your values. In your experience. In your pain. In your code. You're not flinching. You're not leaking energy. You're not trying to be liked. And so, you respected without asking. Emotion without collapse. Before, you shut emotions down because they made you feel weak. Then you tried to feel them all and drowned. Now, you feel. But you don't get dragged. You feel anger, but don't lash out. You feel grief, but don't lose center. You feel love, and let it in. You've integrated the wild. You're no longer fighting your shadow. You're walking with it. You don't need to escape feeling anymore, because now, it doesn't control you. This is mature masculinity, emotion with structure. Depth with edge. The return of masculine presence. You don't hustle for significance anymore. You embody it. How you stand, breathe, make decisions, handle tension, protect what matters, hold your ground. Without aggression, that presence. That's the return, and it doesn't come from ego. It comes from earned inner alignment, unshakable, not unbreakable. Here's the truth. You're not invincible. And you don't need to be. You've just accepted this. You will fall again. You will lose again. You will hurt again. But now you trust yourself to get back up. That's the difference. You're not pretending to be bulletproof. You're just done running, because you've already faced yourself. And there's nothing left to fear. You're not fighting life. You're moving through it, like a mountain moves through weather. Rooted. Still. Real. Direction over speed. Before, you chase speed. Quick wins, fast income results. Now. You move slowly, but relentlessly, because you've seen where rushing leads, to shallow success and deeper confusion. Now you care more about what is true, what is lasting, what is yours. You don't need 10 goals. You need one direction, and the strength to walk it daily. That's not hustle. That's power with aim. You've built a core that doesn't depend. This is maybe the most important part. You don't need anyone to tell you who you are. Not a partner. Not a boss. Not followers. Not friends, because you've met yourself in silence. And you've earned your own respect. Now relationships become choice, not survival. Work becomes mission, not validation. Life becomes ground, not escape. That's what the fire gave you. Not hype. Not pride. But depth. Others will notice. But you won't need them to. You don't need applause anymore. You don't need to be understood. You don't even need to explain, because now you trust your own presence. People will notice. You're quieter. You're clearer. You don't react. You don't sell yourself, and they'll lean in. But you're just living. The return to responsibility. This is where most men either rise or shrink, because now comes the moment when life offers you. Take responsibility for more. For your people. For your world. For your legacy. This is the mature fire. Not the one that wants to be powerful, but the one that wants to build something powerful. Not the one that needs to conquer, but the one that's ready to carry. You've returned. Now you build what lasts. Leading without noise. In the next part, we'll talk about what it means to lead from this place. No more needing to shout. And no more chasing attention. Just moving with weight and letting the world feel it. Because true leadership in 2025 isn't about followers. It's about how you walk, how you hold space, how you transmit truth, without noise. Leading without noise. Some men lead by title. Some by money. Some by force. But the rarest lead by presence. You know them when they walk into a room. They don't announce themselves. They don't dominate. They don't demand, but you feel them, and without saying a word, they shift the entire space. That is real leadership. The myth of loud power. In 2025, the world is louder than ever. Everyone's talking. Everyone's building a brand. Everyone's trying to be alpha, visible, praised, liked. But the more men yell, the less people listen, because presence isn't built in the mouth. It's built in the nervous system. Real power doesn't shout. It stands. The leader doesn't lead to be seen. The immature man leads because he wants recognition, control, validation, to feel significant. The mature man leads because he has vision, weight, order, integrity. He doesn't care if people follow. He simply walks with such clarity that others wanna, not because he forces them. But because he embodies something they've lost in themselves. Leadership in 2025 is energetic. Let's go deeper. In this world of overstimulation, people have learned to feel through signals more than words. Your tone, your eyes, your posture, your ability to hold silence, your ability to listen without reacting, your ability to remain calm in chaos. That's where trust is built. Not in your knowledge. In your frequency. People, especially women and children, don't follow words. They follow energy. And when yours is grounded, quiet, certain, they feel safe to open, to trust, to mirror it. You influence through stability. You've done the work. You've rebuilt your frame. Now, your job isn't to convince. It's to transmit. You lead just by holding tension without breaking, making clear decisions without asking for permission, standing still when others panic, speaking with intention. Not noise, offering direction. Not drama. People crave stability. And when you embody it, they lean in. Because it's rare. And deeply needed. Masculine polarity. Calm plus edge. True masculine leadership doesn't mean being cold. It means being calm with edge. Your calm says, "You're safe with me." Your edge says, "I won't tolerate chaos." Your calm says, "I'm not here to control." Your edge says, "But I will lead when needed." This balance is irresistible. To women. To children. To teams. To life itself, because it creates structure with soul, not robotic, not rigid. But real. Let others feel their own reactions. A leader who needs to be liked is a leader who can't hold pressure. You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be true. That means saying no with eye contact, letting people disagree, letting people not understand, letting people project, and still staying centered. The more grounded you are, the more uncomfortable people may feel at first. Let them, because your job isn't to rescue them from discomfort. Your job is to hold the frame so they can grow. Influence happens in the pauses. Real leadership doesn't happen in speeches. It happens in the moments between. The silence after a hard truth, the look you give when someone's off track, the breath before you say enough, the pause before reacting. That tells everyone. He's not ruled by emotion. These are the moments that define a man's presence. Not what you post. Not what you say, but what you don't need to say. Build environments, not attention. You've done the inner work. Now you build outer containers for that energy. Your home, your routines, your relationships, your team, your boundaries, your pace. This is leadership at the highest level. you become the environment. Your consistency sets rhythm. Your presence creates clarity. Your silence sets tone. Your actions say more than 1,000 reels ever could. What you allow is what you teach. Here's the hardest part. You don't lead by what you say, you lead by what you tolerate. If you allow chaos, you teach others it's okay. If you allow weakness in yourself, you give them permission to shrink. If you're unclear, they become confused. If you're reactive, they become anxious. Leadership is nonverbal curriculum. Every day you are teaching. And they are watching. Not your words. But your walk. This is why you did the work. Remember why you started. It wasn't just for peace. Or confidence. Or to stop feeling empty. It was for this. To walk into your life with weight. To carry people without collapsing. To hold the line when others can't. To bring order, not noise. To build something real. Because when a man leads like this, everything changes around him. Not because he's trying to change it. But because he became the example. The long road. I am the final part of this journey. We'll talk about legacy. What it means to live this fire for the long haul. What it looks like to integrate everything you've become and keep building it into your work, your relationships, your life. Because this isn't about a moment. It's about a lifetime. The long road, integration and legacy. Every man has 2 lives. The second begins when he realizes he only has 1. And now, you in your second. You've walked through fire. You've rebuilt your frame. You've returned to your center. You've stopped performing and started being. Now comes the only part that truly matters. Can you live it consistently? Can you carry it for the rest of your life? Can you leave something behind that outlives you? That's what we call legacy. This is not a peak. This is the ground. You didn't climb a mountain to reach a summit. You came here to finally stand on your own ground. And no more drifting. No more collapsing under pressure. No more pretending to be someone you're not. You now walk your own line. And this line is for life. This isn't a high. It's your new base level. And from here, you build. Integration means wholeness. Before, your energy was scattered. A little in the past, a little in shame, a little in needing approval, a little in performance, a little in running from pain. Now, all of you is here. Your grief is here. Your strength is here. Your shadow is here. Your truth is here. Your focus is here. That's what it means to be integrated. You're not perfect. You're just whole. And finally, you trust yourself. From fixing to living, most men get trapped in the cycle of fixing. The next book, the next therapist, the next cold plunge, the next life hack, the next system. But you're not broken anymore. You don't need a new system. You need to live the one you've already earned. You need rhythm. You need simplicity. You need structure, without obsession. Discipline, without force. Focus, without fear. It's not about being better anymore. It's about being faithful to what matters. Your life is your temple now. Your daily habits are no longer maintenance. They're honor. You move with intention. You train because it makes you clean. You rise early not to impress, but to lead. You protect your energy. You protect your mind. You protect your time. You don't owe the world access to your soul. You built this fire. Now you guard it. You become the mirror. Every man becomes a mirror, whether he likes it or not. Now people will look at you and see one of 2 things. Themselves, if they're ready, their shame. If they're not, your job isn't to be liked. It's to stand in your truth long enough for people to feel what they need to feel. Some will be drawn. Some will be offended. Some will test you. Some will follow, but you remain still, strong, stable, because now your presence is not a performance. It's a reflection of your alignment. You lead generations now. You're not just living for yourself anymore. There are eyes watching you. Some you'll never meet. There's a woman who feels safer because of the way you carry yourself. There's a younger man who will remember how you moved. There's a son who doesn't yet exist, but who will inherit your presence through the world you helped shape. This is legacy, not what you post. Not what you say. But the world you leave behind through the man you became. There will still be days you want to quit. This isn't a fairy tale. You're still human. There will be days when the fire flickers, moments when doubt creeps in, pressure that feels too much, old patterns that try to return, voices in your head asking if it's all worth it, and you'll look in the mirror and say, I know, and I'm still here. That's the man you've become. Not flawless, but unshakable. The return. Again and again, This isn't a one-time thing. This is a daily return. Every day you choose to feel, to stay open, to move with strength, to carry tension, to protect what's sacred, to lead by example, to keep your soul on fire without burning out. This is the long road. This is the only road, and the man who walks it doesn't need applause. He just keeps walking. And when you look back, years from now, you'll look back at the man you were when you started this journey, and you'll feel two things: deep compassion and quiet pride, because he didn't have all the answers. But he said yes. He listened to something inside him when the world was loud. And he kept going. That man was you. This is the end and the beginning. There is no final moment. No end screen. No applause. Just this, a calm breath. A man with weight in his chest. A fire that doesn't flicker. A mission that doesn't fade. Now you carry it forward, not as content. Not as performance. As life. If this series meant something to you, don't comment. Don't rush. Just sit. And when you're ready, stand. And go live it. That's how you'll know you were changed, that you've walked this far. Not everyone does. Most will scroll past. Most will choose noise. Most will stay safe. But you stayed. You listened. And something inside you shifted. This isn't the end. It's just the end of this chapter, that there's more to explore. More to challenge. More to build. More to become. If this series spoke to you, don't stop here. There's more on this channel. Videos that go deeper. That sharpen you. That speak to the part of you most people never see. So when you're ready, click through. Keep walking. Keep building. And remember, you're not alone. You're not weak. You're just waking up. Welcome back.